I should say the things have changed in some ways.
Who is the determinant of the public interest?
The more time people spend in digital worlds, the more of our lives we live there.
Intercoin, bringing power to the people. One of the aha moments that I've had with libertarians, and I have friends who are libertarian capitalists, is property rights is just another institution. And while it is a natural right on a small level, like a lion, protecting its food, that is, and its family, when it gets this abstract thing, I own 1 million houses and, BlackRock owns a bunch of farmland or Bill Gates owns a bunch of farmland. When it gets to that level, property rights uses the government. It uses violence in order to enforce its framework just as much as taxes are used by social democrats. It's still a framework that relies on that.
But so if you're against property rights, then there would be no such thing as theft, right?
I'm okay with personal property. What I mean by that is a small level. Like I own my house. I can have a vacation house. I can have two, maybe. I could have my apartment, my family.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and my computers, the more I have, I would want to see a gradual reduction in the court's willingness to enforce it on my behalf. So in other words, if I have my 57th house and the guy takes shelter in it with his family, and I discover that this guy is using my house, and I want it to be empty, the court will be like, dude, how many houses do you have? And I'm like, well, I have 56 houses. And the court's like, dude, your property rights are not 100%. They fall off. We decline to use violence on your behalf as as you get more stuff. That would be natural to me. That would be like nature, because a lion cannot.
So if you have only 2 houses, they should protect it, but because you have more, they now don't protect it.
Yeah, why
or
should I
they
be
only
entitled?
Protect up to 10 houses or 5 houses or something.
Yeah, why should an individual person be entitled to unlimited services of protection by the government?
Because he traded with people voluntarily and they agreed to sell it to him, is what I would say.
Because he traded with people voluntarily. Well, I mean,
if there's 10 people, I have 10 people around here, all have houses, right?
Yeah.
And I offer them a deal. I make a deal with them to buy your house.
Yeah.
Like that one guy who had 1 house, we protect. That's fine. That's good. You have only 1. It's okay. But now that I've bought 10 houses from people who willingly sold them to me, the government's going to say, well, we only want to protect 7 of them. Or maybe they say you're only allowed to have 7 of them. Is that where
I hear you, and that justification is interesting, but there's 2 problems with it. One is that you're invoking just an ideological point, just like freedom of speech, absolute freedom of speech, right? Like anyone can say anything, but there ends up being people abusing it, or freedom to own guns or whatever. It's like, well, can you own a bazooka? Can you own a bomb? Can you own, like at some point, the scale becomes so big that freedom ain't free. It's like, I say you can eat at my buffet, all you can eat, but then one guy comes in and just decides to eat like the whole buffet or whatever. And
like Homer Simpson.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, that's not what I meant, right? So to me, rights are like that. It's like, you have a right to a reasonable, like, freedom of speech. You could say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that Twitter must, and you agreed with that. Twitter doesn't have a responsibility to carry your message. They can just say, I don't want your message to be broadcast. And similarly, a scientific journal is not obligated to just like publish whatever fart you thought. So freedom of speech to me is about, on a small scale, what I can say out of my mouth, not a distribution network. Similarly with freedom of guns, I don't think I should have a nuclear weapon. I don't think that's a right. But if I want to have, a gun. So the same thing here. But
I think that you need to identify an action, like a threat, like that. Like I can build a skyscraper, but if the skyscraper is it's leaning back and forth and it's on the verge of falling onto someone else's building, then the government could say there's a legitimate type of risk here where we need to step in. It's not like just I can build whatever I want and can't do, there, no one can say anything about it, even though I'm putting people at risk, or like I build like a poisonous fumes in the middle of a company that is
Exactly.
spitting out poisonous fumes in like a neighborhood or a commercial area, there has to be something, there has to be a reason for it. Like,
so that's
not just
what we call
because you have too much.
So this is your right. That's another thing called prior restraint or chilling effects, where the government restrains you previously before you, like speed limits, right? Like technically I could probably go really fast and not hit anybody. But they say, well, we just don't want to risk it in the first place. As an example. Are they over-regulating? Probably. But my point is there's two problems. So one problem is you're looking at it from a point of view of like absolute rights. My property rights are so absolute that if I buy 1,000 houses from 1,000 people, suddenly the government has to go to bat for me and enforce my rights, no matter how much I own. If Monsanto owns, right, everything, the government has to enforce against everyone, right? To me, that's not natural. That's a man-made system.
So what's the principle? What's the print? Like, to me, you said that it was absolute, but I'm trying to nail down a principle that of you have property rights, and it kind of sounds like to me, like your view is more. It's more. It depends, kind of. It's like we're gonna figure it out as we.
Like to be the first to hear about Intercoin's roadmap and news? Definitely join and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that little notification button so you can get updates when the next video drops and the next time we interview a legend like Noam Chomsky or Patrick Friedman. And if you would like to participate in the conversation, go to community.intercoin.app. We'd love to hear from you and about your community. This is what the project is all about. Intercoin, bringing power to the people.